Alright guys, so hope you guys have a great day today. Please be very good for Mr. Thomas. He was very gracious to accept this position on last minute notice yesterday. So today we're going to start talking about geometry. And I know some of you said you wanted to learn more about geometry. So today we're going to start talking about areas of polygons. So polygons is a fancy word to talk about shapes. And we will be talking about quadrilaterals and triangles today. So the different shapes we are going to be working with today are parallelograms, trapezoids, rhombuses, and triangles. So what I mean by parallelograms is a parallelogram, if I can draw a straight line, is this. This is our parallelogram. Very bad drawing, but that is our parallelogram. So both our sides are the same length. All right. The top is the same length as our bottom, and then our sides are as well the same length. A trapezoid is shorter on the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. One side is longer than the other. And then it goes like this. Horrible drawing of a trapezoid, but you guys get the picture. That is our trapezoid. Then a rhombus kind of looks like a diamond, I think. And then we have a triangle. And there's many different types of triangles. But we also have our triangles. And these are a few of our shapes or polygons we will be talking about today. So there are different formulas, I like to say, or equations we can use to find what our area is of a parallelogram, a trapezoid, a rhombus, or even our triangle. So for a parallelogram, we say it is base times our height. And it can be simply wrote as B and H together. Base times height. And our height is anything that makes a perpendicular line. So anything that you see that has this symbol in it, our right angle symbol. Anything that makes the right symbol would be our height. So this would be our height. That is our height. So our trapezoid is half of our height times the two bases added. So remember, I said our one base and our two base are different sizes. So with our trapezoid, it would have our height, which is right here, height, and then we'd have our bases. So base 1 and base 2. So all this is saying is you're taking 1/2 of our height times our base 1 plus our second base. the area of a rhombus also has to deal with height and 1/2. So the area of rhombus is 1/2 times diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. And what I mean by this is a rhombus looks like kind of looks like a diamond. Remember? Kind of looks like our diamond. And in this, there are different diagonals. So what goes from side to side? So we would say this one is D1, and this one is D2. So we are multiplying all of these together. We're multiplying D1 by D2 and timesing it by 1/2 as well. And then for our triangle, our triangle is 1/2 of our base times our height. Remember, I said our height is whatever comes down and makes the right angle. That would be our height. So these are our basic formulas that we need to know. Parallelogram, height, base times height, or height times base, if you want to say that. Our area of our trapezoid is 1/2 of the height times base 1 plus base 2. Area of a rhombus is 1/2 of diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. And then the area of our triangle is 1/2 base times height. So let's take a look at a few examples. So this first shape that we have is a parallelogram. So this side is the same as this side. And this side is the same as this side. If you remember, I said that to find the area of a parallelogram, we are doing base times height. And we are given both of these in this picture. So we can say it is 14, which is down here, times our 7. And when we do the math, 14 times 7 is 92. But we do not end with just 92. Remember, we have to put a label on it. And whatever our label is, which is down here, is what we write. So it says centimeters. So we put centimeters. And all areas is a unit squared. So it's centimeters squared. If we do not put centimeters squared and we just put centimeters, it is wrong. You have to have centimeters squared or feet squared. You cannot just have the measurement label. You also have to have the squared. All right, so that was our parallelogram. Our next one is our trapezoid. And if you remember, our trapezoid was 1/2 of our height times our base 1 plus our base 2. So if we were to write this out, it would be 1/2 times 16 because that is our height. And then we would also times it by 17 plus 39. And when we do this, following the order of PEMDAS, we would have to add our 17 and our 39 together. And that would give us 56. And it'd be 56 times 16 times 1/2. And if I take 1/2 of our 16, I know that is 8. So I just do 8 times 56 to get 448 square feet. And that is our area of our trapezoid. Boom. Easy, simple. Let's move on. Next, we have our rhombus. And if you see, we have our 2 diagonals. So diagonal 1, diagonal 2. And if you remember, we said that it was 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So all we have to do is fill in the numbers. We keep our 1/2 and we will multiply it by 18 by 11. If we do 1/2 of 18, that's 9 times by our 11, we get 99 inches squared for our rhombus. So 99 inches squared for our rhombus. And our last one we talked about was our triangle. And our triangle we said was 1/2 of our height times our base. So if we fill this in, we have 1/2 times our height, which is 14 inches, times our base, which is 8.4 or 8.5 or 8 5/10. I do our 1/2 of our 14, which would be 7. And then we can multiply that by our 8 5/10. So 7 and 8 5/10 is 89 5/10. And our label is inches squared. And that is it for triangles. So the hardest part for doing all this is remembering all of our formulas. So I would suggest remembering this section that we talked about first. As we move on, I will look for a Quizlet to help us remember our areas of our parallelogram and the formula. If I cannot find one, I will make one for you guys because this is very important. If you do not remember these formulas, you're not going to do well on our quiz. So let's look at a couple word problems. Our word problem is saying, what is the area of a parallelogram? So our key word there is parallelogram. That has a base of 12 and 3/4 of an inch and a height of 2 1/2 inches. So if we were to write this out, we know that the area is base times height. So all we have to do is take 12 3/4 and times that by a height of 2 1/2. And when we put those together, we will get 31 7/8 inches squared. 31 7/8 inches squared. Our next one, we're talking about a shape of a trapezoid. So our trapezoid. With the bases of 6 and 5 feet. So 6 and 5 feet. And we have a height of 1.5. 1 5/10. So if you remember, our trapezoid was 1/2 of our height times our bases added together. Base 1 plus base 2. So when we do this, we will do 1/2 times 1.5 times 6 plus 5. 6 plus 5 is 11. We can change our 1/2 to a decimal, since we're working with decimals with our other one. And we can do 0.5 and times that by 1.5. And 1.5 times our 0.5 would equal 3/4, which is 0.75. And if we times that by 11, we get 8 25/100. And it's feet squared. Feet squared. So our trapezoid's area is 8 25/100 feet squared. And that is it for the end of our lesson today. So please work on the worksheet that is given to you. It is double-sided. You have a front and a back. There are a total of 9 questions circled between both sides. So I want you guys to do all the circled problems. What you do not get done in class will be homework. I repeat, what is not finished in class is homework for you guys. So I will be looking at these tomorrow in class, and we will be going over everything on the sheet. And we will be doing a mini project tomorrow in class. So I hope you guys have a great day. I am thinking of you while I'm up at the hospital with my son. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.